What's up everybody, I'm Seth Fowler and today I'm taking a look at the 20 off-white sneakers that have already dropped or have been officially announced and ranking them from worst to best. I'm sure I'm gonna piss a lot of people off with this list because for some reason people get really in their feelings about the rankings of sneakers, which doesn't make sense to me, but hey, it is what it is. With that being said, I'd love to know your thoughts on this list and how you'd rank the sneakers for yourself, or hey, if you agree with my list, so make sure to leave those comments in the comment section down below. But really quick, I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Bump. Bump is an app where you can buy and sell streetwear and sneakers. It's really a community where you can message any user and ask for more pictures or negotiate on price. I've actually already copped 4 fire pieces from the app itself. 3 of them you've already seen in a previous video. And it's also a great place to sell too. So if you guys are interested in checking it out, make sure to click the link in the top of the description. Also, while you're at it, give me a follow on the app at Seth Fowler. But the reason you guys are all here is for this off-white sneaker ranking. I just want to preface this video by saying these are all my own personal opinions. If you don't agree with these opinions, that's fine. That's why they're opinions. The reason that I rank these shoes in the way that they're ordered is because that's how I rank them for myself personally. It really has nothing to do with the hype or resale of each shoe, even though I will be including the resale price for my size 9, just in case you guys were interested in copping. Like I said, all those resale prices are from my size 9, and are pulled from the Bump app or the average resale price. Coming in at number 20 is the Zoom Fly Mercurial in orange. Now, up until recently, I didn't think that there was going to be an off-white sneaker that I didn't like, but it happened. I'm not a soccer fan, so the Mercurial line doesn't really do much for me, but the weird sort of dot placement, I don't know if that has any bearing on like soccer or football or whatever it is, but it just doesn't do it for me. I really don't mind the Zoom Fly as a silhouette. I also don't mind a lot of the off-white details throughout the shoe, but that orange color, no, not a fan. It's fine on small accents throughout the off-white collection, like on laces or on that little tag next to the swoosh. I mean, it's not a bad color orange, but it just doesn't look great on that shoe. And if we're doing a top 20 list of shoes that I actually really like the look of, this is by far the least favorite. If you are trying to grab a pair of these Zoom Fly Mercurials in orange, you know, because of the World Cup, or you just like this colorway, they are the cheapest off-white sneaker, so that's a plus. Resale right now for a size 9 is going for about 370 bucks, so it's not a bad price overall. Coming in at number 19, a shoe that you all probably expected, was the other Zoom Fly Mercurial, this time around in black. Again, I don't really get that dot detail. Maybe it has something to do with soccer. Either way, I just don't think it looks that great. I like the primarily black look of this shoe, accented with sort of that rainbow stripe through the midsole, but overall, unless I got the shoe for retail, it's not one that I really want to be picking up. If you are trying to grab it though, again, it is one of the least expensive off-white sneakers in the collection at $400. Coming in at number 18 is the black off-white Vapormax 2018 edition. You guys know how I feel about Vapormaxes and how I'm not a huge fan of the silhouette overall, but as you'll see later on in the list, the 2 other colorways of the off-white Vapormaxes just seem to look a little bit better than this one. In fact, in most cases, a lot better than this one. This colorway just didn't really do anything to differentiate itself from the regular Vapormax, and that's why it's so low on the list for me. It's not a bad shoe by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not enough for me to actually want to buy the shoe, especially not for resale. And resale for a size 9 right now is hovering at about $630. Coming in at number 17 is one of the more limited sneakers on this list, the ComplexCon AF1 AF100. This is one of the AF100 pack, which is a pack of sneakers made up by a bunch of different designers. This one obviously is the off-white Virgil Abloh version of the shoe. And I've got to be honest, even though it's a clean shoe, out of the pack, it doesn't look that much different from any of the other shoes. To be fair, the entire pack was AF1s and they were all pretty much white, so it's hard to differentiate yourself there. But even when you compare it up against the other off-white AF1s, it's just kind of dull. It is very limited, however, and if you want to complete your off-white Nike collection, you're going to have to shell out about 1,500 bucks. Coming in at number 16 is another AF1, the off-white MoMA AF1 in black. This shoe was only released at the MoMA in New York City, and if I remember correctly, I think you were also given like a set of MoMA tickets, which I'm sure nobody used. Nothing against the MoMA, I love the Museum of Modern Art, but I don't think going to that museum was the first thing in resellers' minds. This is an all-black version of the off-white AF1 low, and if you were lucky enough to grab a pair for yourself and still have them now, you're sitting on about $2,200. Coming in at number 15 is a shoe that I'm actually lucky enough to own myself, the off-white Hyperdunk 2017. No one believes me, which is really annoying, even though I've posted about it on Instagram right when I got it, but I actually walked into Kith the Monday after these released, and it was one of the pairs that people just didn't pick up, so there was a couple sizes just sitting on the shelf. I grabbed the pair for myself, I kept it, I rock it, I love it. The 2017 Hyperdunk is one of the very first sneakers to feature React foam cushioning. It's actually a really excellent basketball sneaker, however this version is a little bit different because they added the sock dart midfoot cage. I think the sneaker looks great, I love the off-white details throughout, however it's definitely not in my top 10. If you're trying to grab a brand new size 9 for yourself, you're probably gonna have to pay about 650 bucks. Coming in at number 14 was the highly anticipated and finally dropped off-white Converse. If the release date for this shoe hadn't been pushed back for so long and the hype just hadn't kept building and building, I think this would have been one of the least hyped sneakers in the collection because people aren't as hyped on Converse as they are on Nike. But the way things ended up, and because this shoe does look so good, this is obviously one of the most desired sneakers in the collection. One of my favorite things about this shoe is that it's mostly see-through, so you can actually change the entire look of the shoe by just changing the color of your socks. I mean, yeah, it's not totally original, it's been done a lot, but on this shoe, it looks great. If you're trying to grab a pair of these for yourself, you're gonna have to pay some of the highest resale for any Converse sneaker at $1,150. Coming in at number 13 is one of the only upcoming but confirmed sneakers on this list, the black Presto. Obviously, the off-white Presto is one of the most hyped up sneaker silhouettes in this collection. The OG being the most popular, and the black and white colorway is probably sitting at around the same amount of hype right now. Virgil and Nike decided to take the same design direction that they took with their Vapormax line and make the second iteration of the off-white sneaker sort of a black and white version. Rather than having a shoe that has one color upper and then a different color midsole, this 2018 version of the Presto is all black. Yes, I think it's a great shoe, but in the same way I wasn't a huge fan of the black off-white Vapormax because it just looked so similar to regular Vapormaxes. I think this one doesn't do enough to differentiate itself from regular Prestos. Does my opinion carry any weight in the resale community? Absolutely not, because this shoe resales for $2,300. To be fair, those are pre-sale prices, and the resale prices will drop when the shoe actually comes out, but they're still going to be expensive nonetheless. Coming in at number 12 is another shoe that I'm fortunate enough to own and actually got off the Bump app in my last video, the off-white white Nike Vapormax 2018. Yes, this shoe does look similar to other white Vapormaxes on the market, but I think with some of the premium upgrades being more visible, like the suede around the lace eyelets, and of course you've got your off-white text on the medial side, the shoe does enough to set itself apart. Plus, when you put in the blue laces that come with the sneaker, I think it looks really, really clean. Yes, I still think this looks like a mouth guard on the outsole, but what you gonna do? If you're trying to cop a pair of the white off-white Vapormax 2018s for yourself, they go for around $630. Moving on to number 11 is a shoe that I really struggled with because I saw it at a Nike event and I think it looks great. However, again, there's that whole argument about, I'll get to it in a second, hold on. At number 11, it's the off-white Nike Presto in white. This is another example of a shoe that I just don't think is different enough from the regular version of the shoe to be higher on the list. Yes, 100%, I will definitely be going after this shoe when it releases, but do I think it's one of the most original sneakers in the off-white collection? Probably not. If you're trying to grab a pair of the triple white off-white Prestos, they drop along with the black pair at the end of June. Or if you're crazy and want to pay pre-sale, they go for about $2,200. Coming in at number 10 is one of the original sneakers from the 10 collection, the Air Max 90. The Air Max 90 has obviously always been a popular silhouette, and as you'd expect, the off-white colorway is no different. This shoe comes with a translucent blue outsole, gray and cream accents, and of course that little orange hit on the back of the Nike swoosh. As much as I love the Air Max 90, and as much as I think this shoe is actually a really great sneaker overall, I think Virgil did a little bit too much on this shoe, at least compared to the other 9 sneakers in the list. And even though I can't stress this enough, even though I think it's a great shoe overall, it's just not one that I really think I'm ever gonna cop. But if you already have a pair or are looking to grab a pair for yourself, you should expect these to go brand new for around $950. Finally, moving into single digits at number 9, it's the off-white Nike Air Force 1 Low. Again, like the Air Max 90, this is one of the original 10 from the 10 collection, but unlike the Air Max 90, this is definitely one of the more minimal shoes in the collection. This shoe is definitely simple, that's for sure. But I think in its simplicity, and I think in the way it pays homage to the original Air Force 1, it's a winner. I've never been a huge Air Force 1 fan. I was never that kid growing up that always needed a fresh pair of Air Force 1s if they got dirty. That just wasn't me. So I don't really have that sort of nostalgia towards this shoe that I think a lot of people have, which I totally respect. With that being said, I think it's really clean aesthetically. I think it would go with a lot of outfits. And if you're trying to grab a size 9 for yourself on Bump, expect to pay around $1,300. Coming in at number 8 is the off-white Air Max 97. I love the lines on the Air Max 97. And in this almost all-white colorway, you can really appreciate the lines and their overall shape. The off-white Air Max 97 is by far one of my favorite sneakers in the collection that I've yet to cop, and if I do ever decide to shell out the money, it looks like I'll have to pay around $900. Continuing on to number 7, it's the original off-white Vapormax. This shoe was always one of the more coveted sneakers in the 10 collection, and I think that's because the Vapormax has always been one of the more hyped silhouettes. Yes, it is pretty much a triple black Vapormax, but it's got some really clean white accents on the tongue and on the swoosh. I think overall, for a Vapormax, it looks great. This is another pair I just really don't see myself buying unless it's for a really good price. and $1,100 is not that price. Continuing on with the list at number 6, it's the Off-White Zoom Fly. The Zoom Fly is already a pretty nice looking sneaker, and in this particular sort of translucent off-white colorway, I think it just is pushed over the top. In the same way that you can change the entire look of the off-white Converse by just changing the color of your socks, you can also do that on this sneaker, but in a more subtle way. I love the customizable aesthetics of this shoe. I also think it's extremely comfortable, and if I do decide to grab a pair for myself, I'm probably gonna have to pay around 800 bucks. Continuing down the list at number 5 is a shoe I just picked up on Bump specifically for this video, and that shoe is the triple white European exclusive Off-White Air Jordan 1. Like the last pair of these that I had, the shoe unfortunately is not my size, so I'm gonna have to try and trade it or figure something out in order to get a pair that I can wear. But I was able to get these guys for a steal, so I just couldn't pass it up. This shoe obviously cracked the top 5 on my list primarily because it's an Air Jordan 1 and I love Air Jordan 1s. I really love the monochromatic colorway that Virgil used on this shoe, and originally this was supposed to be the first Off-White Air Jordan 1 to release. But the story goes that one day while Virgil was actually designing this shoe, he was wearing it around in an airport and someone confused it for a Nike Dunk. Being unhappy that he thought that his design didn't communicate what he wanted it to communicate, he decided to release the Chicago colorway first instead. Apparently he also made some changes to this shoe before it dropped, but I think overall it came out really, really nicely. But obviously this shoe is number 5 on the list, and I haven't talked about any other Off-White Air Jordan 1s, so I think out of the 3 this is my least favorite. I hate to say least favorite, I should really say third favorite, because I think overall this still is one of my favorite shoes to ever release, but when comparing it to the 2 other colorways of the Off-White Jordan 1s, it's definitely my third favorite. As I mentioned, the shoe did only release in Europe so far. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a North American or worldwide release coming up in the near future. Nothing's been confirmed, there's really been no word on it, but the way Jordan Brand operates, they usually would release something like this worldwide. But if you have to have the sneaker right now, or you want to complete your Off-White Air Jordan 1 collection like I really wanted to, you're looking to spend about 2,100 bucks. Coming in at number 4 is the Off-White Nike Blazer. The Nike Blazer has always been a standby when it comes to classic Nike sneakers, and Virgil's take on this shoe with the oversized black swoosh that sort of spills over onto the midsole is gorgeous. There is very little, if anything, that I would do differently on this sneaker, and the only thing that kind of bums me out is the elite colorways of the Off-White Blazers just don't look anywhere close to as good as this colorway looks. Why is there a neon green one coming out? Like, what's that about? But I hate to let that spoil number 4 for you guys. The Off-White Nike Blazer is a beautifully executed sneaker. If you're looking to grab a brand new size 9 for yourself, you're looking to spend around 1,100 bucks. Now guys, this is where it gets big. This is the top 3. These are my 3 favorite Off-White sneakers to ever release. Starting off the list at number 3 is the Off-White UNC Air Jordan 1. Like I said for the other Off-White Jordan 1, the Jordan 1 silhouette is my favorite silhouette of all time. It's already a beautifully made sneaker, and Virgil's take on that shoe is just impeccable. I haven't used that word in a minute, but that's how good this shoe is. Blue has always been one of my favorite colors. Maybe not this sort of baby blue, but blue in general. Maybe more like a navy blue or a dark blue like my shirt. Red's my favorite color if you guys were wondering, but blue is probably a close second. But I think the classic UNC colorway paired with the material upgrades on the toe and on the midfoot make this a sneaker that you can't miss out on. Also, at first, I wasn't a fan of the bright orange laces, but then I was stuck on an airplane for like 6 hours and I started experimenting with lace combinations, and now I'm really starting to dig them. I love the contrast that this orange creates with the blue. I think it's a really nice look. If you're trying to grab a brand new size 9 for yourself on Bump, these go for around $1,000, but keep in mind, so far they've only released on the sneakers app, and they will release worldwide a little bit later in the month, so when they drop, the prices will go down a little bit. So if you're waiting on grabbing a pair, stay tuned to Bump, because I'm sure the prices will drop in the very near future. Coming in at number 2 is surprisingly one of my most worn sneakers of the entire year, and I'm serious, most worn, the Off-White Nike Presto. I have worn the crap out of this shoe. I don't know if you can tell from the creasing, because I actually try and clean this shoe all the time so that it doesn't get dirty. I didn't do a great job on this side or on the bottom, but I wear this shoe probably twice a week. That's not an exaggeration. I wear this shoe all the time. It's risky, yes, because the shoe is worth more than my rent, and so I run the risk of, getting robbed or destroying the shoe or something like that, but I love the shoe that much. This is just like one of the most well-executed collaborations of all time. The Presto is an extremely comfortable shoe. This black and cream colorway is just so wearable. The little like air accent on the side and that little hit of orange underneath the Nike swoosh, I mean, it's perfect. It's incredible. In all honesty, this was gonna be number 1, but there's just this really great story I have about number 1 on my list, so I had to make this number 2, but I mean, this is like as close to number 1 as you can get without being number 1. It's a very close second. If I am able to get the black or white pair that's coming out at the end of June, I'm definitely gonna give this shoe a break and wear those for a while so that I don't destroy this shoe within the next couple months, because I'm getting nervous. And the reason I'm so nervous is because if I do end up destroying the shoe, getting another one is gonna run me about $2 grand. As much as I love this shoe, $2 grand, $2,000 is just a little bit too much for me. And finally, rounding off the list at number 1, not only the most hyped sneaker on this list, nor the most expensive, but mainly my favorite shoe in my entire collection, my signed pair of Off-White Air Jordan 1s. Now, like I said about the Prestos, I think overall this could have almost tied with that shoe, but because of the story behind how I got this shoe, this had to be number 1. I'm sure you guys have heard this story a million times, especially if you guys have been watching me since when I first got this shoe, but I actually won a chance on Nike's website to go to the off-campus event and talk to Virgil Abloh in person, get a shoe, and he signed it. He signed it. So for 10 minutes, I was sitting talking to Virgil Abloh about design, about his passions, about my passions. I was able to grab a pair of Off-White 1s, and he wrote my name on it. That's pretty sweet. If you guys don't remember, the way Virgil was signing early pairs or friends and family pairs of the Off-White Air Jordan 1 was he was writing the person's name after Air. So for Michael Jordan, he wrote Air Jordan, you know, and then for everyone else, he wrote their last name. So the fact that he wrote Fowler, Air Fowler on a shoe, I mean, that's dope, man. I can't stop smiling about it every time I think about it. Like, this is the grail of grails for me. Like, this is it. This is my favorite sneaker. And for all the people out there who always comment, you wrote that on there yourself, you destroyed the shoe, just watch the vlog. It's all actually in a vlog. I'll link it at the top of the screen. I'm sure you've already seen it, but if you haven't, check it out. But with all that aside, I think the Chicago colorway he used on this shoe is about as classic as you can get. It's the most iconic Air Jordan 1 colorway. I mean, red, like I said before, is my favorite color, so just the red being on this shoe is just amazing to me. The black oversized offset swoosh is awesome. I don't know, guys, it just doesn't get much better than this. Like I just said, this is the most expensive shoe in the collection, probably because it was the most limited out of the collection and because it was the most coveted. And if you're trying to grab a DS size 9 for yourself, you're gonna be shelling out about $2,900, which is a huge amount. I definitely wouldn't pay that myself, especially if it didn't have a story behind it. If I was just buying the shoe for myself, no way I'd pay $2,900 for it. But with the story, the fact that I got it for retail, I mean, it just doesn't get better than this. So the Off-White Air Jordan 1 finally wraps up the list at number 1. Once again, huge shout out to Bump for sponsoring this video. Like I said, if you're looking for any of these shoes, they can be found on the Bump app in the link in the description below. Also, while you're checking out the app, make sure to give me a follow at Seth Fowler. I actually have some of my own stuff for sale. So if you want to see some of my personal collection for sale, make sure to click that link in the description below. But that about does it for today. I'd love to know your thoughts on this list and how you would have organized everything for yourself. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.